before whom there were 3 of the horns plucked up by the roots, and behold, in these horns were eyes like the eyes of man,
Yeah.
and a mouth speaking great things.
Right. In other words, speaking great things is talking about the technological power that they have. So this little horn is pretty much talking about America now, which is also known as Babylon, which is that little horn. Go on.
Verse
Came out of the EU. Go on.
Verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Yeah, so if you notice, it listed all of the empires. We went to the point, but it listed all of the empires in that precept. And then after that, after all of those empires were listed, now it talks about how the Heavenly Father looks. Because the little horn, which is the last empire of them all, which is the American system, the Babylonian system, it's just that, the last of them all. Okay? So in the last days, this last empire, and it also says in Revelation the 20th chapter, that what does it says? It says that the deadly wounds of this beast will be healed. In other words, it would come back all over again. Rome would fall down for one day and then raise back up. What I mean by one day, I'm talking about 1,000 years in the time of the Lord. Go on, bro.
His throne was like the fiery flame.
That's it on that.
Okay.
Yeah. You get me Revelations 20 now. About Shah.
I still got Isaiah 19 and 2 on standby as well.
Okay. I'll tell you what, hold that on standby and get that as well. Revelations 20.
Okay, I'll get Revelation 20.
Oh, you got it, okay.
It's Revelation 20 and 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit,
Yeah.
and a chain, and a great chain in his hand.
Yeah, and the bottomless pit is talking about Europe, because in Europe, everything you can't grow any fruits or anything in Europe. So that's why it was known as the bottomless pit. You know, it's not a tropical region. Go on.
Verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan.
Yeah, the old serpent is referring to the beast that we was reading about, that little horn, or should I say the horn, which is the Roman Empire, the last horn. All right, the red dragon. That's not talking about a man. That's talking about a system or an empire that was erected on the face of the earth, which was powerful and greater and much more different than all of the other nations. So this is talking about the Roman system. Go on.
And he laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan,
Right.
and bowed him 1,000 years.
Bound them 1,000 years. What is that talking about? That this great serpent, which was called the devil and Satan, which was bound at 1,000 years. This is talking about when Jake came into power. Beginning, most say it's the Septarian family came in, but you had other Jake families that came in before the Septarians. I forgot their name.
Severus.
Yes, Severus.
But even it was after the fall of the Flavian dynasty.
Right, because you had a couple of dynasties. You had the Flavian dynasty, and then you had what else? You had what is it?
It was Septimius Severus, but I think the first emperor after the Flavian dynasty was Marcus Aurelius, I believe.
Yeah.
He was an Israelite.
Yeah. So you had the Septarian. The Severus dynasty. That's what the word I was looking for. The Severus dynasty. So you had that dynasty, but that dynasty didn't come until the other dynasty. All right. But a lot of us, a lot of us used to teach that it all started with Septimius Severus, but it didn't. There was another dynasty that came before that. Go on.
So it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit.
The Severian dynasty, I meant. Go on.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more.
Yeah, and that's talking about the Middle Age throughout, when Septimius Severus and them was ruling, right? And I'm talking about the dynasties when Jake came in there as a whole. Jake just pretty much ruled Europe for 1,000 years. All you had was so-called Negroes dominating Europe, all over Europe. So that was the 1,000-year period. In other words, the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages. Okay, that Esau likes to make poke fun at. Go on.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more.
Right, to cast a seal upon him that he should not deceive the nations no more. So when was that going to take place? I tell you what, read that again, Baba Shah.
Revelation 20 and 3. and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more.
Yeah, because when Esau comes into power, that's all they do. All they do is deceive the world, and to have them believe in lies. That's another way on how they can possess the people in their position. Okay. So we're under the same system, under the same Roman system all over again. Yeah, keep going.
Till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled.
Right, so the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. Yeah. So after the 1,000 years was fulfilled, after the rule of the Dark Ages, then Rome came back all over again, and that's when you had this one guy named Cesare Borgia. You had the Borgia family that came in the midst of around the 1400s, and in the midst of that time, they took all of the dark art, right, and iconoclasmized the art. That's even the word, iconoclasmized. So they Edomized the art, and they put their faces on there to declare that they're the angels and they're the saints of the Most High, when in fact they're not the saints of the Most High. Go on, brother. Yeah. And I want you to continue on in Revelation 20th chapter, because there's some more now.
It's Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Right, and that's what they did during the Renaissance period. Now the word Renaissance means rebirth. The rebirth of what empire? The Roman Empire, as prophesied in Revelation the 20th chapter. How the beast was its deadly wounds was healed. So if the deadly wounds of that beast was healed, it would come back all over again. And greater, go on.
If not, where and who is he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it on that. That's it on that. Huh?
Chime in.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
When you go into the Hebrew word for covereth and the faces, it means to hide the presence. So that's what Esau literally did. He hid our presence during the Middle Ages, man. By iconoclasm, by saying it was Edomites that was ruling at that time, by saying it was an era of ignorance and anti-science, so on and so forth. So that's what he literally did. He hid our presence, man.
Yeah, and that's why when you open up the Bible today, what did you see? You see Edomites lookalikes that are in the Bible, rather than seeing the real saints of the Most High. Go on, brother.
So back in Revelation 20:3, so it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled.
Yeah, till the 1,000 years be fulfilled. Go on.
And after that, he must be loosed a little season.
Right, and it says after that. So after the Middle Ages, they would come back as the Renaissance period, right? And then you would have Christopher Columbus and the whole crew. They would then set themselves up all over again, right? Into the new world, and then this is what we have right now. So right now, the beast, which is the Roman Empire, which we're under right now, the revival version of the Roman system, is going to be loosed a little season. So we're in the pretty much, this society has what? A little bit of time on it. Okay? Only this society is going to be set up for a little season. Now let's read Job 14. Because as we just read in the book of Psalms, they think that the house shall continue forever, right? No, but what they don't realize, according to prophecy, they're only loose for a little season. Okay? So once that little season is up, their time is up. And Jacob is going to begin to rule. And we're in the stages of Jacob becoming rulers now. Go on, bro. 14 and start from verse 4.
This is Job 14:4. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing? Not one. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee.
Right. Seeing that his days are cut, the word determined, and I believe the word there is I believe it's look it up, by the way. I believe it's corrupt or something like that. See, when you out in the city, man, you can't really focus, but out here you can really pay attention and focus. Corrupt is out, yeah.
So this is the word for determined is Strong's H2782, Karatazar, and it says to cut, sharpen, decide, decree, determine,
Yeah.
move, be decisive, be mutilated.
Yeah, so it means to cut. So there's a certain amount of time that's cut for Esau. As we just read in Revelation the 20th chapter, that beast that will be released and loose for a little season. Okay? So we're in a little season of that beast being loosened. A short period of time. Alright, so let's go back to that.
Yeah, so it's Job 14:4. It's like it's 14:5.
Yeah.
Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee.
Right, the number of months is with the Most High. The Lord knows how much time Esau got. So while Esau is thinking that they're going to rule for the next 30 years until 2030 or 2060 or 2055, that's not going to happen, man. That time frame don't exist. Okay, what exists is the time frame that he has right now and onwards. But he don't got no 30 years or 40 years. Oh no. Go on, bro. Once they bring in that ship, it's the end. The deal is sealed. Go on.
Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Right, so there's a bound. There's like a barrier that he cannot pass. You can't break that barrier. Okay? So once he's reached that barrier, his apex, then it's time for him to go down. It's equivalent to the sun. When the sun reaches its highest, then it goes all the way back down again. So it's the same thing with this kingdom. When this kingdom reaches to its apex, it's going down, and we're in the times of it going down, gradually, little and little. Okay, all you gotta do is watch the news, and you can see that. Okay, so yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna read. Where was we before?
You on Jeremiah 50, and I still got
Isaiah 19. You get Isaiah 19 then.
All right, this Isaiah 19. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud,
Yeah.
and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence.
Yeah. So a simpleton would probably read this and say, well, this is talking about ancient Egypt. No, it's not talking about ancient Egypt, because you have, what is it? It's said in Revelations the 11th chapter how this particular nation that was going to be risen up was going to be likened unto Sodom and Egypt. Okay. Now, why would it be likened unto Egypt? Because the Israelites were in captivity in ancient Egypt, and the way the Israelites were treated in ancient Egypt, that's the way we would be treated in America. And then also America would take hold of the customs of the Egyptians or worship their gods. Go on, brother.
And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence.
Right, and the idols of Egypt would be meet at his presence. Now, if you look at the back of the American dollar bill, what do you have? You have a pyramid, and you have obelisks around in certain states in America, which those obelisks go back to Egypt. Okay? So Babylon the Great is known as Sodom and Egypt, aka America. So now we're going to get Revelations the 11th chapter.
This is Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city,
Yeah.
which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt,
Right.
where also our Lord was crucified.
Yeah, so that's America. America is that land of likened unto Sodom and Egypt, and that's exactly where people are more affluent or influenced. Let me use that word. Under this idea of two men get married, two women get married. That idea comes from America. That is okay. So that land is known as what? Sodom and Egypt, because they're doing the same thing that Sodom and Gomorrah was doing. So they're following the same footsteps as Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? Now, what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Those brimstones fell and pelted the city. But what you're going to have in this day and age is you're going to have those missiles that are going to pelt the cities. So it's the same, it's similar. It's very similar. Go on, bro. The destruction is going to be very similar, but this destruction is going to far surpass the destruction that happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. Go on.
This 2nd Ezra 15:11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm,
Yeah.
and smite Egypt with plagues as before.
Right, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. Now, he did smite Egypt with plagues because you had those frogs, you had those locusts, you know, you had all of these different plagues that Moses was smiting Egypt with. But the Lord is going to do one and better in this day and age.
Precept up.
Go on, bro.
Genesis 19:24 says, Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of the heavens.
Yeah.
And 25, and the overflow and overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground.
Yeah.
Last one. But as his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt.
Right, exactly. So what happened, as the brother just read, explained itself what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. So what's going to happen in this day and age is what you're going to have is you're going to have those missiles that are going to pelt the cities and waste cities all over the place. Every element that you see around here is going to be burnt. Why? Because of the deeds that are being done. That's just what it's going to be. It's all prophesied. It's all preordained to take place. So what we're saying is it's inevitable. The things that we're talking about are supposed to come to pass and will come to pass. Now, all people can do is scoff and scorn and put middle fingers up and say, oh, F you and all of this other stuff. That's not going to solve anything. It's not going to change anything. You know, all you're going to do is make yourself look more foolish when you do that. And life is still going to go according to prophecy. Go on, bro.
Get a piece of just before you get that.
Yeah, go on.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow.
Yeah.
His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot in the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth.
Until they come upon the earth. So when those missiles hit ground zero, that's going to be it. Or when they go into midair, those missiles ain't going to go all the way back into those silos. They're going to go and hit ground zero, kapoosh. Straight like that. That's where it's going. And it all began with Esau being in power. Because think about it, if Esau wasn't in power, these things wouldn't be taking place. Okay, these arrows wouldn't be shot. Because the only group of people that can create arrows that can waste cities and destroy life on earth, it can only but be through Esau, man. No other nation. Go on.
This is Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
Yeah.
No one of these shall fail.
Right, because what you're going to find out is there's prophecies that are going to take place in the word of the Lord. And it says these shall not fail. Yeah? So what we're saying is going to take place. Some of the stuff that we've been reading about for years is taking place already. So how much more the other stuff? See? Like the uproars of the people, the rioting, the protesting, that's all in the scriptures. That's all in the Bible. Give me that in the Apocrypha, man. 2nd Ezra 9th chapter. Yeah. No, 2nd Ezra 9. It says, and you shall see the signs. And then somebody get me Luke 21.
So this is 2nd Ezra's 9 and 1. He answered and said, it's like he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
Yeah.
And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
And who is the highest that will begin to visit the world which he made? The Mashiach, the Messiah, Yahweh Shah. He's going to come back here and bring forth his power and his wrath and then save the elect.
That's right.
Okay? But these things, these signs and wonders and prophecies are going to take place. Go on, brother.
Verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
And therefore you will see uproars of the people on the earth. And we're seeing that in China. We're seeing that in Bolivia. We're seeing that in Venezuela. We're seeing that damn near all over the world. Haiti. We're seeing that. South America, yeah. So we're literally seeing prophecy as it stands. Prophecy is taking place. So the scripture says, when you see these signs come in effect, then know that the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Let's read that again.
So 2nd Ezra 9 and 2. Then thou shalt understand that this is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Let's read on.
Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
Yo.
Right.
Oh.
Shalom, man. You know, so we're going to read it one more time, brother. Yeah.
2nd Ezra's 9:3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
Yeah. So so these are the signs of the highest beginning to visit the world. So when we see these signs, which we're seeing right now, then we got to know just that he's coming to visit the world which he made. So it says the uproars of the people, right? So I'm going to explain basically that all of these countries, okay? Well, I'm going to list certain countries, like for example, you have Bolivia, damn near all around South America. That's protesting and rioting. Hong Kong is rioting. Lebanon is rioting. France. Chile. Haiti. So there's like, what, 16, 17 countries that are rioting at the same time. Uproars of the people. Okay, and then we're seeing signs and wonders in heaven. Pursuant to, Luke 21. So these are all signs indicating the end of this revival of this Roman system.
That's right.
You know, and you can't hate us, man. You can't dislike us or hate on us because we speak in these words. We're just speaking the words out of the Bible. That's all we're doing. We're not out here to cause no kind of issues or any of that nature. We here to mind our own business and bring out this word to edify the elect. You know? So if you don't like what we're saying, then you have that leeway to move on. Okay? Go on, bro.
Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee.
Right, so everything that you see happening around the world, the uproars of the people, the uproars in Hong Kong, the uproars in Venezuela, the uproars in Bolivia, the uproars in, where else, man?
Iraq.
Right, Iraq, Lebanon, all of these countries that I've named, these things were already written before time. They were already written. So this life is all based on prophecy. Everything's based on prophecy. It's not a matter of if or it's maybe. No, there's no maybe business. It's a matter of what's written to take place. And that's what we're living in right now. Like we was going into earlier before, how you had these scientists that created the atomic bomb or the nuclear bomb, which the Lord gave Esau, these Edomite scientists, to create such a thing, to fulfill the Lord's will. Okay? So when we say these things are going to take place, we're not saying it just to be saying it. We're saying it because we're the prophets of the Lord, which the word prophet means to, what is it? The word pro means before, and the word foresee means to say. So we're speaking things, we're speaking about current events that are going to take place, that can't no one change or alter. Even if they become public speakers or they protest, however they do it, it's not going to change. Whatever's written is ordained to take place. It's etched in stone to take place. Go on.
Even from the beginning. Verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
Right, which is all that is made of in the world, which have a beginning and it has an end, and the end is manifest. How is the end manifest? By the signs of the end. Let's get Luke 21 verse 23.
I've got that. That's Luke 21 and 23. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
And that was talking about 70 AD. So Yahweh Shai prophesied about things that were going to take place during that time. And he specified it. But it jumps around this particular chapter. Go on.
For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
And that's what happened. The book tells you that. When you read the book of Timbuktu, it tells you that 1 million Jews fled into Africa. So they were expelled all over the place. So that happened. Prophecy. Go on.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
That's what's happening right now. This says Jerusalem shall be trodden down as the Gentiles, right? If I'm correct. Read it one more time anyway.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Yeah.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
And shall be trodden down of the Gentiles. So the Gentiles is talking about the Amalekites that are there right now. calling themselves the Jews or Israelis. That's the time. That's it. Go on. What you got, son, man?
Yeah, that's lucky. Just on this map, this biblical map, it said
Yeah.
old Babylonian Empire, showing you that they know that there's a new Babylonian Empire.
Oh.
So it says that old Babylonian Empire.
Oh.
So if they say that
Oh
it's
yeah,
old,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, because it says old, but right. So they know.
it says here, it says old Babylonian Empire.
Where? Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So showing you that they know that
There's a new
another
one.
There's a new Babylon.
So what you could do, brother, show that on the camera.
Yeah, that's anything. Because there's a picking up. Get a bit close. Yeah. So these.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So it says here, in the orange, it says Old Babylonian Empire. They've outlined, showing you that these scholars know that there was an old Babylon and there's a new Babylon to come. That's existing right now as well. So there's two Babylons. So yeah, just a bit of a.
And that's what John the Revelator was prophesying about. While he was expelled from Rome and put into the island of Patmos, where they were dealing with salt. So while he was there by himself, I mean, maybe there was a few. I mean, I don't know if he was there by himself. Maybe there was a few people that was with him, but he got these revelations or these visions of what was going to occur or take place, and what was going to take place are the prophecies that were going to take place in Babylon the Great. And he made mention of another Babylon. So like the brother was saying, even the scholars of Esau, they know that there is a new Babylon. Because why would they say the old Babylon? If they don't know, say they do know. Esau knows everything, man. And this is why Esau is in a situation where they're scared, man. Because we're bringing this word out and we're coming to the realization of what these prophecies are. And they also know that the prophets were raised back up. They would stand up on their feet and raise back up and speak these words. So they know. And this is why they want to shut us off from YouTube. They're saying, look, if your videos are not commercial viable, then we're gonna just take the whole channel down.
Right.
So what is Esau really saying? Esau's trying to do away with the truth because his back is against the wall.
Yeah.
When your back is against the wall, you do anything. You'll make wrong decisions, wrong moves, and wrong moves can lead to other circumstances.
Right.
Yeah, they're gradually showing that they're going to clamp down on freedom of speech.
Yeah.
With that thing in Japan, they shot a student protester, shot him, and they left him for dead. But he got back up and he said that they're trying to stop us from protesting, trying to take away our freedom of speech. Now we're going to come even harder. And there was another case in Beirut, Lebanon. That the guy that beat him up, the police soldiers beat him up, left him for dead. He said the story. He said that he went unconscious, and in the hospital, his daughter come and visit him. He said he's doing it for freedom of the next generation. So as soon as he gets, he said he's waiting to get released, and he's going to go back out there and protest again because he said there's no point in there's no point in living if you can't have freedom of speech. So they're showing the soldiers, and they're trying to show signs that you shouldn't. If you don't agree with the government, just shut up and
just shut. Yeah, and that's what eventually is going to get down to, because you see all of those riots and protests going on. All of that's going to go to America, man. All of that's going down to the States. So this is what's going to take place, and Esau's prepared for everything. Right. And it's a beautiful thing that he's shutting YouTube from us, because it lets us know how close we are to the end. We're not concerned with our YouTube channel. We don't give a crap about that. We've just used the YouTube as a way to publicate the word, to bring in the end anyway. Let's get Matthew's
Got precept Matthew's 24 and 32.
Yeah.
Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that the summer is nigh.
Right.
So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors.
And that's what we see, baby boy. That's what it's all about. You know? So when we see these signs or these prophecies that were spoken out of the words of Mashiach Yahushua, then we know that his end is near. The end of this world is near. Because everything has to take place, man. Like, everything happens in the time of the Most High. We want the Lord to come back. We want the Lord to take us out of our situation, our captivity. But the Lord has to fulfill his words. So we have to deal on that. While Esau is thinking that they're gonna override the prophecies and lead forever, that's not happening. We just read in Revelation the 20th chapter that the beast is only loose for a little season. We're in that little season. So once this little season is up, The party's up and done. Go on, brother.
So Psalms 137 and 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom
Yes.
in the day of Jerusalem,
Right.
who said, raise it,
Raise
raise
it.
it, race it, sorry, it's like it.
Yeah.
Race it, even to the foundation thereof.
Right, and that's what happened in what is it, during the time of Babylon, when the Babylonians came across our people, and they was sharing it on. So every little thing that they've done is going to be required. Okay, everything that's been done on earth is being recorded. The heavens are recording man's handiwork. So when it's all said and done, then it's, because like I said, let's get Ecclesiastes the 3rd chapter back. Let's get see, everything is all prophecy and it's all in due time. So it seems like people got off scot-free and everything's free now, and we can just do what we want to do, and we all can just be happy, hold each other, hug each other, and forget about the past. Oh no, baby boy. It says that the Lord required that which is the past. So once Esau gets done ruling, then he's gonna have to deal with they're gonna have to deal with their judgment. We dealt with our judgment, so they're gonna have to deal with their judgment. Go on, bro.
Okay.
Start from verse 1.
Alright, God. It's Ecclesiastes 3 and 1.
Yeah.
To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Yeah, so right now we're in a time and a purpose for Esau to fulfill his time, to enjoy himself, to live deliciously, to be in power, and to fulfill his wickedness, because wickedness has to be fulfilled. So once he's fulfilled his wickedness, then it's going to be time for his judgment time. Yeah, everything happens in time. It's all in time, baby boy. You can't force time. What happens in time? Go on, bro.
Verse 2. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted.
Because ultimately the Most High planted the system up. He set Esau to rule, and the Babylonians to rule, and the Persians to rule. They had their time. Now it's going to be their time to come to an end. Every nation was planted to rule, and they all had their end. So now we're coming to the end of this last paganistic empire, which is the revival of ancient Rome. And basically, the Messiah is going to have to come and set up the everlasting kingdom, pursuant to Daniel 7 and 27. Go on, bro.
Verse 4. A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up.
Yeah, so what does it say in Malachi 1? Let's get Malachi 1. It's a time to build and it's a time to break down, right? So let's get Malachi 1. Oh, it's cold, man. Ooh, it's getting colder.
This is Malachi, the 1st chapter. Okay. You want to read
Verse 4.
Verse 4. Okay, yeah, come. It's Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.